Good morning, everybody. And Sharon and Cumberland County Historical Society is giving us an opportunity here at the Historical Society of East Pennsboro to show you our nail museum that is in Adam Rickey Park. So my name is James Leonard. I'm the director of the Historical Society, and I welcome you. And I'm going to start now because we need to get it rolling for 10 minutes. We're going to start at the end of the tour today because of our logistical situation. So what we're looking at here first, folks, is the arches down along the Connequa Creek, which is down over the hill from the Historical Society of East Pennsboro. That is right on 5th Street in Enola, Pennsylvania. And this is photographs of the arches and some folks who were standing on the arches back around 1921. So this is when everything is gone as far as the nail factory goes, and this is what's left. And today, most of these are all covered with mud because over the years, during flooding and so forth, all you can see is maybe the top of some of these arches. So we're going to keep on going around the room here and look at some of the building as it ended up in the 1890s after the 60-year reign of the nail factory in West Fairview. And in the 1890s, it was already dilapidated and fallen down. And as you can see here, it looks like it's worn out, and it really is at that time in life. So there used to be a dam down in West Fairview that used to let the water go in and come out of the Fairview or the Harrisburg Nail Factory. That water was used to cool the steel as it was being molded, and it was also used to belt drive the nail machines. And we're going to go all the way around the room here now and eventually show you the nail machine and how it actually ran. This is a close-up picture of the nail factory where you can actually see the flowing water of the dam. It actually went in there and all the way down through the nail factory. You can see this is flood time, so this is snow and water up against the nail factory. This photograph is actually a postcard, and it was taken across the creek looking up into 5th Street and then State Street in South Enola. And it's one of the classic photographs that we actually have of the nail factory looking at the neighborhood. Some of the bosses owned some of these homes up on top. There are some 3 or 4 brick homes up on top. They're still there that the bosses lived in during that era. As the nail factory was moving along over this period of time, when things were starting to wear out, they were starting to sell things. And also the nail factory was sold several times over the years. And Jared Pratt was one of the last owners, him and Mr. James McCormick. And near the end of the time, whenever they were starting to tear down things, they would sell a lot of the items and actually the property that the nail factory was on. Now, right above this here is just a little showcase of our charter members. These charter members raised $54,000 to build the nail factory. Now we're going to let this young lady go around me, and I'm going to demonstrate how this nail machine works. This nail machine is a piece of iron that is just unbelievable. Now, during those days when this factory was running full steam, they had young boys taking these steel plates that were molded down there, and they made nails from these. What they would do, the young boys would continue to feed this plate in there. The nails would come out here. Now I'm going to go on the other side and spin the wheel because this is the clutch and this is the drive wheel. So what would happen is, it's very tight and stiff right now. As this would go around, you might want to shoot down there. You can see that plate getting spun around. And as it would come into position, there's a thing here that would smash down on that thing and stamp out nails similar to this. This is a cut nail. They had these machines set up to do different size nails that were needed, from long to short and different depths of round according to the width of the plate. So that's your nail machine. and that's one of the reasons we're here. We're going to go over here to the other side of the room. We have some photographs here on our tour that show men and young boys getting their photograph taken and some men working on the dam. These young boys were anywhere from like 8 to 10 to 12 years old, and they would go to work with their fathers and work there for the day. Now we're going to take a little side trip here to Connecticut. This is a difficult picture to see, but this is Mr. Tom Crognally, who actually designed and helped to build the nail factory museum here. Now he went up to Connecticut, to get this free nail machine that we have here, as long as we went up and got it. So we were very fortunate. Tom went to a big effort to make sure we got this machine, and we can really say thanks to Tom and his compadres for building such a beautiful museum out here in Adam Rickey Park. Going around the room, we're going to take a look at the nail factory in action. These machines must have made so much noise they probably couldn't hear each other, probably at the end of the day, probably for hours. Now, they put out a lot of tonnage of nails. 6,300 tons of nails were nothing to them to be made during that period of 1870s and 80s when the nail factory was really rolling along. This here is a sampler of the nails that were made down at the nail factory. You can see they're different sizes and width and also in length. I've sort of stepped away from all of the dates and the history and the owners of the nail mill, but we're going to just keep moving right along here so we can give you a little finale of the beginning. The beginning of the nail factory was originally owned by Norman Callender and Gabriel Heister. They originally built just a steel mill where they made steel plates and other types of steel items, and then eventually they expanded and made the steel mill into a nail factory so that they could make the steel and run it right over to stamp out these nails. Now, the reason that the nail mill actually went out of business was because of the industrial age, the creation of a wire nail instead of an old steel plate stamping machine. These were created in Europe, and in the late 1890s, our factory was unable to progress and move forward because it was just too worn out, so it fell apart. And that was the end of the nail factory in the late 1800s. I know you can probably get through here. I'm going to just take a look at the map. West Fairview is down here along the river, and up around the corner on the way up the creek. This is the beginning of the Connecticut Creek. This is where the nail factory was. There was also a small mill down along this area. We don't even know exactly where that was, but this young lady is going to try to pan on this. This is an old grist mill wheel and a grinding wheel. And what they would do is they would stamp out flour, corn, whatever they might be using. But this was found down along the creek in the mud when they were cleaning up the area to have a showcase of where the nail factory used to be. Now, I know we're getting down on time, so she's going to come around the corner here and give you a little picture here, a quick one, of a model of the nail factory, the way it looked. And this is according to scale. This is what the nail factory looked like in a sort of like a 3D look. And this was done by a good friend of ours by the name of David Black. So I know we're running out of our final moments, and I'm just so glad you could come on our tour with us. We want to be part of the community as much as possible, and this has been a wonderful way to showcase our Adam Rickey Park and our Nail Mill Museum. So thank you very much for having us, and we hope to see you again real soon.